Marilyn Monroe was one of the most famous women in the world. But on August 5, 1962, the woman behind the Hollywood image was found dead in her Los Angeles home at just 36 years old. The official explanation came quickly. Marilyn had died from a self-administered overdose of sedative drugs, and her death was classified as a probable suicide. But that conclusion has never stopped the questions. Was Marilyn Monroe really alone when she died? Why did rumors of murder appear almost immediately? And why, more than 6 decades later, are investigators and filmmakers still examining the case? To understand the mystery, we have to go back to the beginning. By 1962, Marilyn was far more than a movie star. She was an international icon, but her private life was complicated. Her career had suffered setbacks, her relationships had been turbulent, and she had struggled with prescription drugs. Then came the night of August 4th. Marilyn spent the evening at her home in Brentwood, Los Angeles. Her housekeeper, Eunice Murray, later became one of the most important witnesses in the story. During the night, Murray noticed that Marilyn's bedroom light was still on, but Marilyn's bedroom door was locked, and there was no response. Around the early morning hours of August 5th, help was summoned. When Marilyn was found, she was dead in her bedroom. Reports described an empty bottle of sleeping medication nearby, and the telephone was beside her. The medical investigation eventually identified a lethal concentration of sedative drugs, including Nembutal and chloral hydrate. The coroner's final conclusion stated that Marilyn had died from a self-administered overdose and classified the manner of death as probable suicide. That should have ended the mystery, but it didn't. Almost immediately, questions began appearing about the circumstances surrounding her death. Why was the bedroom door locked? Why were there conflicting accounts about the exact timeline? What happened during the hours before Marilyn was discovered? Over the decades, those questions became the foundation for one of Hollywood's most persistent conspiracy theories. Some writers and researchers argued that Marilyn may have been murdered. One theory connected her death to her relationships with powerful political figures, particularly the Kennedy brothers. Other theories suggested that government agencies or organized interests could have had a motive to silence her. But there is an important problem. None of these theories has been established as fact. The FBI really did maintain files concerning Marilyn Monroe, and those records are publicly available through the FBI's vault. But the existence of an FBI file does not prove that the Bureau was involved in her death. In fact, the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office conducted another formal review of the case in 1982 after years of public speculation. Investigators examined the available evidence and concluded that there was no credible evidence of homicide or criminal conspiracy. The original finding of probable suicide remained supported. That conclusion is important because it means the murder theories have never been proven in an official investigation. In 2026, renewed attention has returned to Marilyn Monroe's death. Retired cold case investigator Paul Holes, known for his work identifying the Golden State Killer, examined the case for a new television investigation. His involvement has brought fresh attention to questions surrounding the original investigation. It means the case continues to fascinate people because some questions remain difficult to settle in the public imagination. We can separate what is documented from what is speculation. What is documented? Marilyn Monroe died in August 1962. She had a lethal amount of sedative drugs in her system. The coroner concluded that the overdose was self-administered and classified the death as probable suicide. A later 1982 review found no credible evidence establishing homicide or criminal conspiracy. What remains disputed? The interpretation of certain witness accounts, the circumstances surrounding the final hours, and whether every detail of the original investigation was completely understood. But the most enduring questions concern the final hours. Who spoke to Marilyn, what was happening inside the house, and whether details of that night were recorded accurately and carefully. Those questions have allowed theories to survive for generations. But perhaps the most fascinating part of Marilyn Monroe's story is not simply how she died. It is how quickly the world transformed her death into a mystery. She had been one of Hollywood's brightest stars, yet her private struggles were largely hidden behind the image of Marilyn Monroe. Then, almost overnight, the world was left with unanswered questions, conflicting stories, and decades of speculation. More than 60 years later, we still have the official conclusion. But we also have people who continue to challenge how that conclusion should be understood. So, what really happened to Marilyn Monroe? The evidence supports the official finding of probable suicide. The murder theories remain theories, not proven facts. But after all these years, the questions surrounding that August night continue to keep her story alive. And maybe that's why Marilyn Monroe remains one of Hollywood's most unforgettable legends. What do you think? Do you believe the official explanation tells the whole story? Or do you think Marilyn Monroe's death deserves another serious investigation? Let us know in the comments. And if you want more stories behind the legends, subscribe to Spotlight by Big J. Because sometimes, the most fascinating stories are the ones that never completely disappear.